Hey, Miss Vaughn. So I'm filming in the car again, so sorry. But today I'm filming my child growth my child growth observation. And first we're going to start off with Miss Kimberly. I actually just finished hers today, but I'm going to be talking about Miss Kimberly from Desark. And walking in Miss Kimberly's class was awesome. The pro that I have for her was that she was really nice and she was really, really patient. The kids were doing a dinosaur dig site. They were being, oh man, what was the name of it? They're doing a dinosaur dig is what it was. And so they first practiced with their cookies and they dug out all the chocolate chips and they counted the chocolate chips and went and put them on the board. Then they actually got in groups and they got to feel around in sand and the bones were wrapped in Play-Doh. So I thought that was pretty cool. My grow for her, I don't think I have a grow for Miss Kimberly. She was very nice with the students. She was very sweet with them. She wasn't mean. She let them, to let them have fun and express themselves. So I'm going to say that I don't have a grow for her. Okay, then I have Miss Stacy, first grade, and at Desark, and Miss Stacy was very nice. She was a younger teacher, and I'm going to say my growth, and what was, Miss Vaughn, I can't remember what the other one was. Oh my goodness, silly me. My grow for her would to be a little more interactive with her students. I remember that she had a student, she was a girl, no, it was a boy, and he was playing with the blocks. So when he was done with the blocks, he had nothing else to do. He'd already done all the puzzles, all the blocks, he played with the blocks again and again and again. Well, she was with this one group so much and for so long that the boy was sitting there and he was fiddling his thumbs, he was messing with the shoes, and she didn't even do anything. She didn't look at him, she didn't acknowledge him, she didn't do anything. So I would say to kind of watch and to go, okay guys, let's move centers more often and keep, even though she's with this group, keep an eye out because I didn't feel like she did. So that would be my growth. My grow. Now my glow for her was that she was so nice about her students, and she was even great about having the lights covered. She had a, what do you call it? They were called like light filters, and they filtered out the light, and so it reduced headaches, it promoted calmness, and it kept stress level down, it kept irritability down. So I thought that was awesome. Then we go to Miss Sunny, second grade, and you already know my feelings about her. This is this lady that I let you read the essay. I don't have a glow for her at all. There's no glow. No glow. This was probably, out of all of my observations for both classes, probably the worst one. I don't have a glow at all. My grow for her would be a lot more nicer to let the students actually have centers, actually let them move around, actually let them do things, because the bathrooms were in the classrooms. So the students didn't go out to the bathroom. They didn't go get a drink of water. That was all in the classroom. So they're confined in this classroom until lunch or recess or whenever, and they don't, their centers, they don't have any centers. So I just, all around, I would think that if you didn't want a student observer there to be, respectful enough to say, I don't want this student observer there or something, and I hope the next person that comes and observes her class actually, doesn't have the experience that I had. Okay. Now we have Miss Hollyfield at Rosebud. She taught third grade. Miss Hollyfield was awesome. Her name was Brittany too, but she was awesome all around. She was so nice with their kids. She was so patient. And what I loved is that when I came in, she was teaching math. For students to be this excited about math was awesome. I mean, third graders were blurting out and yelling the answers to all these questions, and I was like, whoa. Like, they know about the area, the perimeter, the width, how to find this, and so I was really impressed with the fact that she had such great control of the classroom, and all the kids were excited to learn about math, and everyone was shouting, and they're like, yes! So, I mean, that was awesome to me. That was definitely the glow. The grow, I guess the grow, I didn't really experience any discipline in the class. I don't think there was a need for it. There was one girl specifically that got sent to the back desk where I was sitting. So I don't know if that's part of the discipline, if that's like the first step, and the second step is to do something else. But I do know at Rosebud they have corporal punishment, so they do allow paddling. So I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but I was just kind of thinking like the discipline could be a little more something. Then we have Miss Henry, fourth grade at Rosebud as well. And Miss Henry was awesome. When I came in, they were working on their bell work for the day. They had been reading Johnny Appleseed. And so the question that they had tied into their reading Johnny Appleseed. And something that I thought was awesome about Miss Henry is that she would say on the title, if they didn't read, she would say, the title would say, I did not read, and then they would go into why they didn't read. So Miss Henry could actually see, herself, okay, were the parents gone? Were they tired? Did they not, were there's fighting going on, they couldn't read? Would they have to take care of their siblings? She could actually see what was going on and be a lot more lenient with that student particularly than if she were to just not know anything that's going on and just, come down hardcore on him. So that's my glow for her, is that she thought about the students and thought about the home situations and what could actually be going on in the home versus just, oh, well, he didn't do his work, so I'm going to give him an F. But did you think about what would happen in the home? So I think that's awesome that she did that. My grow for her, I don't have one. Miss Henry was very nice towards me. She was very respectful. She was very nice and respectful to her students. She did stand up for a student, which I thought was awesome, because in Rosebud, they're kind of, country. And, so they are kind of country. And, one girl did not eat meat, and so some of the kids were kind of making fun of her for not eating meat, and Miss Henry stepped in and said, hey, is it okay for her to feel that way? And they said yes, and she said, okay, we're done, we're dropping it, no more. So I thought that was awesome that she stood up for that student, and she did not make it an awkward situation. Then we have 5th grade with Miss Nelson, and Miss Nelson was at Lone Oak Elementary School. And Miss Nelson was awesome. When I came into her class, she was teaching math as well. And she was just so nice, and she was loud. And that's what I really like. What I noticed about her was that she was loud. She did not have to wear a microphone. She was loud. And it wasn't like a yelling loud, but it was I'm vocally loud enough so where you can hear me, and you can hear me, and you can hear me, and everyone in this room can hear me. And there's no way that you can't. And I love that about her. And she spoke clear. She spoke precise. She asked, she had she wanted you to do this, and that's what she asked of you. So I was really happy that she did that. So that's my glow for her. I don't really have a grow at all. She was very nice to me. She was, informed me about certain things to do in the program. She gave me pointers, just like you said, Miss Vaughn, never ever say kids. She always said, don't ever say that. Always refer to them as students. And, she told me the reasoning why. She gave me, experiences in the classroom. And, because I'm supposed to observe, I can't, step in or help or anything. What I loved about it is that she gave me experience in that classroom. She was telling me, okay, this kid always talks, this kid does this kid is really smart, this kid is, and so, she got a chance to pair up the students together, and they worked on their fractions. And when she paired them up specifically so that they would be with people that were more advanced, and then the people that were less advanced could be together. Then finally, is this final? I want to make sure this is final. No, this isn't final. Okay, I've got 2 more to go. Then we have Miss Maury for 6th grade, and I observed her at Lone Oak as well. And Miss Maury was awesome. When I walked in, they were teaching, she was teaching literacy. And, she is a literacy teacher. I misspoke. But, so when I walked in, the kids were doing their book talk, which is basically like a book report. And I remember in school doing this as well. They told 3 things they liked about the book. They told what the author was. Basically, to get the other students involved in the book is basically what it was about. And after that, they went over their fluency chart. And I was honestly surprised, because Miss Maury was telling me that the fluency this year was horrible, that the fluency was on such a low level that it just was horrible. They didn't know where to stop and pause at commas. They didn't know where to stop at a period. They didn't know run-on sentence. They didn't know all these things. And I just thought that was kind of crazy, because I don't remember knowing about them, but I do remember knowing when to stop at a period, when to pause at a comma. I was not the best at placing them, but I knew when reading it how it was supposed to go. So I thought that was kind of interesting, and they spent a lot of time on the fluency, and and she showed me the sheet they were going over, and they read the paragraph, I think a total of 4 or 5 times. That she read it once or twice, they read it together again, and I think she called on students the final time. So they read it a lot of times, so there was plenty of times for the students to go, okay, you're going to pause here, there's a period, that means stop, brief moment, then go to the next sentence. So I honestly I think that was her glow. She did not have a grow to me at all. She was a fantastic teacher. She was so nice. She invited me back. She gave me plenty of pointers. She was awesome. She was the best teacher ever. So Miss Maury is awesome. And I honestly would love to teach at Lone Oak, and that's a place that I've thought, you know, for a while that I would want to teach at, and I told her that, and she said, well, you know, she said, we'd love to have, you know, someone that's so enthusiastic about, you know, children, so very, very happy. And then finally, we have North Little Rock Montessori School as my inclusive site for Miss Hannah. Now, I've never been to a Montessori school at all, so this was very different. And the lady at the secretary explained it to me. She said, have you ever been here? And I said, no. And she said, okay, well, we believe that the classes are better if they're kept together. So you had, I think in this one I observed a 4th and a 5th grade classroom together, but they were separate, but they were together. No, it wasn't. It was a 3rd and 4th in this part of the room. There was a not a wall, but there was a like wall cover. You'll see in my in my drawing that I did, my schemata. And then there was the 5th and 6th graders over here. So you had the 2 different grades, but they were separate. Or the 4 different grades, I should say, but they're separate. But in each class, there was maybe like 12 students total. There wasn't a lot of kids in the class, which I kind of thought was awesome because more one-on-one and more time for the students to actually have one-on-one time. My first initial thought was, wow, this teacher does not like me. This teacher does not want me here. This teacher is mean. First off the bat, I mean, didn't greet me really, didn't want to shake my hand, didn't want to do anything. That's kind of odd. I was like, okay, you know, no big deal. Well, afterwards, getting to talk to her, getting to go over the test, the standardized test, you know, she's telling me about how the students have responsibilities, how they dust, they sweep, they take care of the bunny, they take care of the fish, they take care of the plants. Like, they have responsibilities like they would do at home. So when she told me that and we were talking about it, she was kind of more open up. She was, you know, she was more, you know, accepting of me, not just in teacher mode. I've got to teach my class, which is fine. I don't expect her to stop teaching to talk to me. But at first it was just kind of like, oh, she doesn't like me. But that wasn't the case. She just was in teacher mode when I walked in. My glow for her was the fact that she was awesome with every student. She helped every student the best she could. She kind of had an incentive, and that was snack time. So if you finished your work, you got to go over to the table and have snack. If you didn't finish your work, you couldn't go get snack yet. My grow for her, I think, oh man, my grow, I guess for her was to be a little more, not nicer to the students, but I think a little more understanding and a little more accepting of the students. With some of like the math and stuff, me personally, I'm not a good person at math, and there was all kinds of distractions in that room. They played music, they had the kids in the other side of the classroom, so I would get distracted very easy, and even in the room observing, I couldn't concentrate. Well, I feel like she should have been a little more understanding with all that stuff going on in the room, instead of getting, you know, kind of like, okay guys, you should have known this, you should know this. And then when she was going over in their groups, I felt like she was kind of a little harsh, but that could just be, I mean, she knows her students better than I do. They could be like that all the time. But I do know that having the music on, having all those kids in the classroom, the older grades, there was kids coming in and out of the door. So I thought that was a little distracting, and for me, as an observer, 21 years old, to write this stuff down and be distracted, I knew that these children that are 10, 12 were going to be distracted as well. So I thought she should be a little more aware of that and a little more, like, kind of nicer about it, when they're talking to her about it, instead of being like, But that is my child growth observations, my 8 or 9 hour observations. Let's hope that this video gets uploaded correct. Thank you, Ms. Vaughn.